Hey there, fellow movers and shakers. Welcome to your practice at the Movement Clinic. My name's Emily. For today's class, you'll need a place to move as usual, a couple of blocks, and maybe a strap as well. Our gentle flow is focused on the hip flexors, so be prepared to not only gently lengthen, but also gently strengthen and engage your hip flexors. And I will see you on your mat. To begin class, we'll be on our backs. Props are moved out of the way, but within reach. As we start to play with this idea of gently mobilizing and stabilizing these hip flexors, kind of connecting to them without too much gravity. So lie on your back, shoulder blades underneath you and down your back, knees bent, feet planted. Place your hands on those frontal bony hip points just to become aware of where they are in space. With your next inhale, I want you to arch your low back, lift it away from the mat, and feel those bony hip points lift up and forward towards the thighs. As you exhale, draw those bony hip points back and in towards the face as the low back flattens. Inhale to arch. So we're just tilting the pelvis back and forth. As we bring it back for the posterior tilt, low back flattens. As we inhale, anterior tilt, low back lifts. Roll a few more times through these tilts with your own breath. Bringing that gentle and, of course, as always, non-judgmental awareness to kind of how this feels. Maybe the arch of the low back feels better and the flattening feels a little odd, or like there's a tugging or tightening. Just start to pay attention. And the next time you're in that posterior tilt with the low back flat, those bony hip points softening up and in towards the belly button, slurp the belly button back to help support this. Keep the pelvis exactly as it is, lengthen your left leg long, hug the right thigh in towards your ribs, interlace your fingers on the back of the thigh below the knee, flex the right foot and the left foot, as a matter of fact. Make space for that thigh to come in contact with your ribs by drawing the low right belly back. Find this nice hip compression here and press your thigh back into your hands and notice what happens. Now keep the belly slurping back. Keep this rib to thigh connection, or at least the action of trying to make the thigh and the ribs stay connected. As you inhale, press the leg long. Exhale, bend the knee, squeeze your heel towards your butt. Inhale, send the leg long. Exhale, squeeze. Send the leg long. Exhale, squeeze. Good, keep that low belly slurped back. Try to keep the thigh to rib connection. Simply release the back of the thigh. Send the right leg long. Keep that posterior tilt of the pelvis as the left thigh hugs in towards the chest. Interlace fingers on the back of the thigh, below the knee. Both feet are still flexed. Low left belly, especially now, slurping back into the back of the body to get that rib to thigh connection, while engaging the belly to make space. Inhale, press that leg straight. This rib to thigh connection is going to kind of be a theme of class. Exhale to bend. Inhale, press it straight. Exhale, actively squeeze your heel to your butt. Press it straight. Inhale. Actively squeeze heel to butt. Pause. We end in that push-pull compression. And slowly release, bend both knees, plant both feet. Grab one of your blocks, place it on the lowest, widest setting underneath the sacrum, that flat part below the low back and above the tailbone. Now a little bit of a different release specific for the psoas. Hug right knee in towards your chest. Let left leg go long. The left foot will probably float. You can have just some nice soft feet. Allow this to kind of hang out here. You may feel this across the front of the left hip, maybe in the low back. If you don't feel it at all, feel free to raise the block up one level to the medium setting. Low belly is still slurping back as the right thigh yearns for the right ribs. Slowly release, bend your left knee, plant the foot, and switch. Interlace your fingers around the left shin bone. Right leg goes long. Just allow the right leg and foot to hang and float as you draw left knee in towards chest. Excuse me, allergies have been super fun this year. And slowly switch. Plant both feet. Release the block from underneath you and move it to the front of the mat or somewhere handy dandy, wherever it is. And make your way to hands and knees on your mat, tabletop. Now stretch your left foot behind you for gate pose. Right toes spin out to the right. Plant the left foot. Outer edge of that foot is in line with the back edge of the mat. Now here, walk your hands to the long side of the mat. So you're in sort of this half gate cat-cow position. And we're actually going to do some cat-cows here. So zip up the low belly. Inhale, stretch your heart through your upper arms. Stretch your belly button down. Lift the tail and the crown to the sky. Exhale, press away, round cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Let's do one more. Inhale. And exhale. Walk your hands back over to the top of the mat. Plant right hand underneath right shoulder. Left arm stretches up. Bend the elbow. Place your hand behind your head and bring your arm to rest against your face and leave it there. Zip up low belly. Press your hips forward. Reach up and out through the elbow and stretch out the entire front side of that left side of your body. Apparently that was a tongue twister for me. Good, now take a moment and notice how long the neck is, how long the upper back is. I want you to keep that as is. Inhale, float that back foot up. Exhale, hug thigh towards ribs, slurp back the low belly, and maybe start to think about tapping elbow to knee without changing the length of the neck or the upper back. Your hand will probably release from the back of the head. Let's inhale, lengthen it back out, elbow to back foot. Exhale, compress it in. Use that hip flexor to really actively hug in. Inhale, lengthen out. Exhale, hug it in. Gaze forward and step your left foot forward. Square right toes behind you. Low lunge, inhale, send the heart forward. Keep that rib to thigh connection, but slurp up the low belly. Exhale, press it straight. Back of the neck and upper back remain long. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, press it straight. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, press it straight. Inhale to lunge, right hand plants. We move back through our floating gait just briefly. Stretching out that hip flexor. Plant the back foot. Stretch the elbow out in front as the hand lands behind the head again. And release back into tabletop. Same thing, other side. Right foot moves back. Left toes spin out to the left for our cat-cow half gate position. You get the pleasure of staring at my bum. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, round for cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. Arch the back. Exhale, round. Walk your hands back to the top of the mat. Left hand plants. Right hand reaches long. And then bend the elbow. Place hand behind head. Elbow, upper arm bone, forearm rest against the head as you stretch that right elbow up, 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 lengthening the right side of the body. Zip up the low belly and try to keep that posterior tilt of the pelvis present here. So don't let the butt dump back and the low back dump forward. Keep zipping that up. Now for those hip compressions here, inhale, float right foot high. Leave upper back and neck long. Exhale, compress thigh to chest. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, draw it in. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, draw it in, gaze forward. Step right foot forward. Square left toes behind you, low lunge. Hip to thigh connection or rib to thigh connection as you stretch the sides and back of the neck long. Upper back stays nice and long as heart stretches forward through your upper arms. Press it straight, half splits, exhale. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, press it straightish. Lunge, inhale. Exhale, press it straightish. Inhale, lunge, pause. Left hand plants, right hand on the back of head as you transition through your floating gait. And then land the back foot, stretch back foot and right elbow away from each other. And slowly release. Sink your hips to your heels for a brief child's pose. Low belly is slurping up and in. Get that rib to thigh connection as you stretch out through the upper arms. Inhale, lift your gaze, walk your hands back, come to a seat, swing your feet out from underneath you. Now, plant your hands or your fingertips behind you as a kickstand from which to stretch your heart up and forward. Again, keeping sides, back of neck long, upper back extended, heart lifting up and forward. Now, come up onto tippy toes. We're gonna do reverse sit-ups or kind of single leg Ardha Navasana hip compressions one at a time. So you can keep this really gentle, or you can kind of ramp it up with me if you choose, but keep this where you need it to be. Stretch the right leg out in front. Inhale. Exhale, draw thigh in. And switch. Inhale. Exhale. Left thigh in. Maybe inhale, tap both toes out. Exhale, hug it in. Inhale. Both feet long. Exhale, hug it in. Inhale long. You can keep just switching back, doing toe taps, back and forth if you'd like, or both legs in sort of a reverse sit-up position. This is a lot against gravity. I feel it in the front of my hips already, which is super fun. But we need to warm up and bring fresh blood flow to this area if we really expect to lengthen it as well. All right, let's go ahead and pause. Stretch your legs out in front of you. Reach your fingertips out in front of you. Rock side to side, zip up low belly. And try to tap your toes, compressing your hips with legs long. Inhale to sit up. Exhale, reach long, tap toes. Maybe you barely are reaching your toes, that's fine. Maybe you're just reaching for toes. Maybe toes are reaching for palms. Maybe you're able to find wrists. No matter what, sides and back of neck are long, upper back remains long as heart stretches forward. Okay, go ahead and pause. Make your way back to your tabletop position. Gate pose, left foot back. Left fingertips reach up to the sky. Elbow reaches up, hand behind head. Elbow reaches forward, stretch it out. Inhale, float the back foot. Exhale, slurp the belly back. We'll do 3 compressions. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, compress. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, thigh to ribs. Gaze forward, step it forward. Keep your blocks handy. You might even place them on either side of the front foot now on the medium setting. Back toes are tucked, lift the back knee, high lunge. Find that rib to thigh connection and keep it as much as possible. Strong back leg, inhale, press your front leg straight. Modified pyramid, move hips to square. Exhale, lunge. Inhale, press it straight. Right hip is still wrapping forward, upper back and sides and back of neck are long. Inhale, press. Inhale to lunge, excuse me. Exhale, press it straight. Last one, inhale, lunge. Exhale, press it straight. Now, lunge, float the hands. As we exhale, we're gonna stand up and compress right thigh to ribs. Exhale, stand up, hands can come to heart center. Compress. Inhale, step it back. Hands on blocks, high lunge. Slurp up your low belly, get that rib to thigh connection. Really press away through the palms and try to get the thigh to lift into the ribs so much that your left foot floats. For 3, 2, 1. Step it back. Lower to the knees. Move your blocks off to the side, but keep them handy. Same thing, second side. So even if the foot doesn't float, try to get it to, and the action will engage those hip flexors, okay? Inhale, stretch that right foot back. Let's find our gate pose. Right arm reaches up and hand releases behind the head. As we bring arm close to face, stretch the front right side of the body. Inhale, float that back foot. Exhale, thigh to chest. Inhale, stretch it long. Exhale, thigh to chest. Remember that posterior tilt of the pelvis, keep it neutral. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, compress, gaze forward, step right foot forward, grab those blocks for underneath your hands. Move them in so they're underneath your shoulders. High lunge, press the back heel back and down, squeeze that back kneecap, belly is zipped, heart is stretching forward. Inhale. Exhale, press it straight. Keep wrapping outer left hip forward to bring pelvis to square, or at least trying to. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, press it straight. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, press it straight. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, press it straight. This time, as we lunge, get the weight light on those blocks. Left knee, as we exhale, is going to hug into chest as we stand up. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Squeeze that knee in towards your chest. Step it back. Hands land on blocks. Again, we're in that high lunge. Press away through the blocks. Zip up low belly. Hug that right thigh in towards your chest so much that maybe the foot floats for 3. Squeeze it up higher, 2. 1. Step it back. Let's find a down dog. Stretch it out. Walk the feet out. Lower down to the knees. We're gonna do that one more time. Blocks move off to the side. Left leg moves back. Gate pose, left hand behind head. Inhale, stretch that left arm long and left elbow long as you float back foot. Exhale to compress, zip up low belly. Inhale, lengthen it out. Exhale, draw it in. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hug it in. Gaze forward, step it forward, grab those blocks. Inhale to your high lunge. Soften your pelvis down, but keep back leg strong. Exhale, press front leg straight. Right outer hip wraps forward. Inhale to lunge. Exhale, press it straight. Last round, inhale, lunge. Exhale, press it straight. Inhale, lunge, prepare yourself to stand. Bring palms to meet at heart center. Exhale, hug right knee to chest, slurp it up. Exhale, step it back, find your high lunge, hands land on blocks. Inhale, press down, hug the left thigh in. Find that compression for 3, 2, 1. Step it back, down dog. Pedal out those feet. And slowly lower knees to mat and move blocks. Last time on this side. Inhale, right leg back, right hand behind head, and stretch in opposite directions. Float that back foot up, inhale. Exhale, compress thigh to chest. Inhale, send it back, keep the pelvis still and neutral. Exhale, hug it in. Inhale, send it back. Exhale, hug it in. Really squeeze that thigh onto your ribs, gaze forward, step forward. Keep the rib to thigh connection, high lunge, inhale. Pelvis softens towards the mat with strong legs. Exhale, press front leg straight. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, front leg straight. More straightish. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, press it straight. Inhale, lunge, prepare to stand and float back, knee to chest. Bring palms to meet at heart center. Exhale, hug it on in. Stand up tall. Step it back. Press down into the palms, into those blocks. Zip up low belly. Hug that right thigh in. Float foot or try to float it for 3, 2, 1. Step it back. Inhale, lower to your knees. Move your blocks back to the top of the mat, within reach, but out of the way. Now, bring your strap near you. Circle right toes out to the right, gate pose, left foot back, left arm stretches up. Turn the top palm rather, to face forward and reach up and overhead. Just take a nice long stretch. Maybe draw the arm back and send the hips forward. And step left foot forward, exhale, hug thigh to chest. Use all of that compression work that you've developed to get there. Inhale, stretch your heart forward. Plant your right hand and squeeze back heel towards your butt. This is where you might use your strap to capture the back foot or lasso that back foot. Some people kind of put a stationary loop in their strap. That's not really my cup of tea. But if you find that creating a loop in the strap is really beneficial for you, go ahead and do that. But no matter what, that neutral tilt, or that posterior tilt rather, of the pelvis as the low belly zips up, square your hips to the top of the mat. Make sure that front knee stays tracking over your middle toes. And then maybe start to turn the chest open to the left. Maybe start to send your heart forward. Draw the ears back. You might find that you're able to grab the foot without the strap, in which case you'll grab the pinky edge side of the foot. And slowly release the back foot. Grab your blocks to frame the front foot. Press front leg straight, half splits. Blocks are going to drag back so that they are underneath your shoulders in your half splits. Now here, we're gonna try to float this front heel. Very common to get some really fun thigh cramps when you first start to do this type of work. But still just hip compression. We're still trying to bring the thigh to meet the ribs, slurping the low belly back and in. You might find that flexing the foot works better. You might find that a strong toe point works better. Find what foot position really helps you to create a hip compression today and switch it up. Blocks can be on any level, any setting, especially if the back of the left leg is tight. Leg also doesn't need to be straight, okay? So you can have a nice bent knee here and still find hip compression, okay? So pick your poison, take an inhale, keep the heart stretched forward. Exhale, slurp that low belly back and float the foot for 3, 2, 1, and release. Take another inhale here. Maybe strong toe point or flex the foot. Exhale. Float the heel, compress that hip up and in for 3, 2, 1, and release. Move blocks off to the side. Shift your hips forward, plant your palm. Left foot moves up and back into that gate. Left hand behind head, land the foot and stretch out the front of that hip that we just compressed. And release. Same thing, other side, we're in tabletop. While we find our gate, right foot stretches back, right arm stretches up, flip the palm to face the top of the mat and reach up and overhead, nice big stretch. Draw that top arm back as you send the hips forward. Gaze forward, inhale, float back foot. Exhale, step it up. Left hand underneath your shoulder. Grab your strap if you need to. Squeeze that back heel towards your butt and use your strap or that right hand to capture the back foot. Square everything to the top of the mat. Hips, knees, shoulders to start. Low belly is zipped, finding that posterior tilt, keeping it as you send hips forward and maybe begin to turn your chest to the right. Send your heart forward, draw the ears back. So again, creating lots of length through the front left side of the body, but with the support of that neutral pelvic tilt. And slowly release that back foot, press the front leg straight, grab your blocks, get set up for your half splits with that floating hip compression. Okay. I'm gonna have a strong flex of my foot. Don't worry if the knee has to be bent because your hamstrings aren't quite there. It's all okay. The shape is unimportant. It's finding the action of the low belly and really engaging those hip flexors. So we do this twice. Pick a toe point or a flexed foot to start. Take an inhale. Exhale, float it up for 3, 2, 1. Let it down. Inhale, maybe point the foot now. Exhale, float it for 3, 2, 1. And release. Come back to your low lunge, move your blocks off to the side, floating gait to the back, plant the right hand behind the head, land the back foot, and stretch your tricep and your elbow forward out of that back foot. And slowly release. Child's pose. Knees are as close or as wide as you would like here. Walk your hands back. Make your way to your butts, please, and grab a block. We find supported bridge. So let's put block on medium setting to start. Press into the feet, lift the hips up, make sure that block is placed, not in the low back, but just below the low back. Right on the sacrum above the tailbone. Root down through the inner edges of the feet. Zip up your low belly. So try to create that pelvic tilt here that we've been talking about by drawing the low belly up and in, softening bony hip points up and in towards the belly button. Option is to stay right here, or maybe play with exhale, hugging right thigh in towards your chest. Inhale, pressing the leg straight. Flex the foot strongly, reach out through that inner right heel. And release and switch. Exhale, hug left knee in, strong flex of the foot, slurping up the low belly. Pressing it straight, and really use that hip flexor to reach out through the lifted heel and hug the leg back towards you. And slowly release. Option is to stay with your block on this level, or you can press into the feet, bridge the hips up to lift it up to a higher level, or the highest level, rather. So we're gonna do the same thing, but maybe with the option to add on. So take an inhale here, keep that low belly slurped up and in. Exhale, flex the right foot and hug the knee and hover the knee up towards the chest. Use that hip flexor powerfully. Inhale, press the leg straight. Maybe start to send the left leg long. So lengthening the front hip, really compressing the right hip. You might find that it's a little easier to balance with the knee bent. You can stay here or grab the right shin bone with the right hand, slide your hand down the shin, start to capture the top of that foot and slide the top of the foot to meet somewhere next to your block. Your toes are going to point back. This might feel like enough, or you might slide and bend the left knee, plant the left foot. Ooh, I'm getting a fun little foot cramp in my right foot. And you might start to send that right knee forward and gently press into the top of the right foot and the left foot to bridge the hips up, opening up this right hip flexor. So stay wherever you're at. Both hip flexors are going to get opened and engaged one last time, okay? All right, let's slowly release. Plant your right foot. Knee is bent. Exhale, left knee up towards your chest. Hug it in, squeeze it in. Send the leg long, stretching out through the left heel. Maybe start to send that right leg long. And again, for me, it just feels better if I rebend my left knee and hug it in. But pick what works for you. Now, if you had your opposite knee hugging in, if you were in this shape the whole time, the last time, it might be a little bit more balancing. I'm not usually super attached to that, but it might be a little more balancing to kind of stay here and do the same thing on the second side, just so that you get lots of length in that right hip. Or you might want to try, if it feels appropriate, to slide that left hand down the shin to the top of the left foot, guiding the top of the left foot to land outside of the left hip, outside of the block somewhere. Stretching forward through the left knee, pressing into the top of the left foot, planting the right foot underneath the right knee, and finding that strong neutral pelvic tilt as you stretch that left knee forward to really open up the front of the left hip. And slowly, really plant your feet, pause for a moment. Press into the feet to release the block out from underneath you. Soften the hips down to the mat. Move your block off to the side, all of the props off to the side. Supta Baddha Konasana. Feet, soles of the feet rather, touch, knees open out wide. I like to sort of rock side to side gently. And start to edge your feet apart, bring the knees up to the sky. And simply rock side to side across the sacrum to release that low back. And that twisting and sort of torsion of the discs in between your vertebrae helps to plump them up and create more space in that low back. And slowly pause in neutral and find those pelvic tilts just a few times. Noticing if they feel any different, if the low back feels different. And as you're ready, go ahead and send those legs long. Shavasana. Shoulder blades underneath you and down your back. Yawn your jaw open. And gently close the lips, leave the jaw soft. Allow your eyes to soften into the back of your eye sockets as your gaze of awareness lands at the space just behind your eyes. In that dark sea of consciousness. where the source of what we define not only as we comes up, or as me, rather, that sense of self, of creativity, individuality, but also a sense of connection to universal consciousness. And I'll leave you here to float in your sea of consciousness in Shavasana for as long as you would like. I'll see you next time.